Let me start with the problem and then let's hope so others will also join. So, in finance, normally, whenever you see how many quantities we are going to purchase, so we have got a basic idea, right? What we can do if it's, let's say, one time purchase. I am not going to buy the product again, then I can just negotiate with the supplier in a way that just give me this discount and I am good to go. Okay, not very much. So if it's one time, the supplier we got this way. So Aditya, what you can do is, let's say you have got 100 quantities and let's just make it on a fly here. 200, 300, 600 plus, and here let's say copy the prices and okay, I need to make the changes this way. And yeah, so let's say these are the prices, right? So normally what you will simply do is you can simply use the lookup function and then we are good to go. Lookup my required quantity is this. This is my uh, threshold and these are my prices and that's it. And you will see that this is my price. I am just taking the price directly. But in what universe, right? Because normally when we go to a supplier, we generally go for like a long term bond, right? So it's normal, it's not always you will get directly to this price. What they say is, Aditya, for first 100 quantities we will be setting the price to 50, then we will be setting for the next 100 quantities to 47.5, and the more you will buy the quantities, we will be changing the prices. Got it? So this is how also negotiation goes on for long-term contracts. And I have seen in some of the cases what happens is the supplier has got a more good, you can say, uh, how can I say that, more good relationship. Then what they say is, if you purchase 500 these many quantities, right? So these are 1500 quantities. Got it. So if you are going to purchase 1500 quantities from the very first unit, I will be setting the price to 50 and then we will adjust the price in the final invoice. But that's again a complex thing and today I am not going to dwell there. So right now the simple thing which we are going to focus on is how can we go with this approach when we are said that whenever we will buy the products for the first 100 units it will be done from 50 price, and then for the next 200 units it will be set price for 47.5, and then when you will go more and more then the price will be reducing. So that's the problem. And before we jump into the problem, let me share you, okay, this, we all do so many complex things, right? The scary thing with Excel and everything, but this is like very simple thing. Let me show you what I mean actually. Let's say we are going for a concept, and here what we can do is just see here. I'm just going to make these many calculations. So just see here. First, these are quantities mentioned in the text, right? So how can I fetch the text values directly here? So what can I do here? I can come here and just simply say quantity. This is my actual quantity. I am going for text after and simply saying my delimiter is this and that's it. And because these are in text, right? What I'm going to simply do is I'm simply going for double negative for making them into numbers. Got it? So these are, and I am getting an if and error. So what can I simply do here? I- If and a function, I know here we can come here and pad the values as well if not found, but that will again create an issue of value error. So I am just simply making it this way and let me copy paste. Got it? So this is very simple right now. We have got the quantities. Now let's go this way. Opening and then let's say that 1 second. Yeah. And finally, I will be getting the amount here as well. Opening and then you can say that distribute and then finally closing, right? So what can I do here? If you will see here, what will come here? Here we will be coming for 100 units. And then because 100 units are used, so my, one second, opening. This is my opening actually, 500, right? So first I will be distributing 100 units, and then what will be my closing? My simple closing is this. And again, it will come here as well, right? Let me close this here. Yeah. So now what you can see here, that because I have got 200 units, then I will be simply needing the 200 units only. And I am just going for concepts, okay? Not much technical stuff right now. And then simply we can drop, use this approach and then use this approach, right? And then what we can do here, you will see that I have got 200 units again, and I can have, like, my upper threshold is 300 units. I need to consume 200 units only this way. So 200, and that's it. I have got 000, right? So this is good to go. But what will happen if my quantities is just say, let's say 1500? So now it is not making properly sense, right? One second, let me drag down, and you will see that it is not making things properly. Got it? Okay, one second. Okay, I moved way more ahead. So instead of let's go this way only for now. So what we need to do here, if you see here, all I need is either my opening or my quantity. I need to take the minimum of these two values, right? So what can I simply do here? Of minimum of these two values, and that's it. The moment I do that, and what I need to do, that's it. Just see here. I've got the result, right? But what will happen if I've got like 1000 units? So it is adjusting properly. Okay. And let's say just 200 units, going everything fine, right? So not a problem. The simple logic here is that I need to figure out a way to get the opening, then distribute the quantities in a way, and then finally getting the closing price. That's it. And then all I can simply do here, the price into my distribute, and that's it. So this will be my amount, right? So that's the normal way. Let me see if someone has got any questions or not. All right. So this is the normal way we will be computing. But you can see that this is too much manual. So what we can now do here, and we need to figure out the formulas here as well and everything. So what we can do actually to make the things very simple. One second. Yeah. So let's keep them as well here. And instead, what we will simply do here, we will come here and let's keep the threshold this way. So what we can do here, let's say my upper threshold. One second. Let me see if I'm not making any mistake. Yeah. So instead of upper, we can simply say quantity and then text after. And we are moving from our old age school to dynamic array school, right? So what we can do here, this way, I'm doing this way space, and that's it. I've got this much, right? Quantities I've got, I have just simply made them dynamic spelling way. Let me do this way. Normal sale. Yeah, so that we can get the idea. Okay, now what we need to do here. If you see here, what I'm doing is I'm just going for reducing balance method, right? So how can we do that? Simply we can use a scan function because I need to uh, follow my previous value as well. If you see here, my previous value, that is my starting opening balance here, and then I am reducing this much value, and then finally I am getting the closing balance, right? So what can I do here? I can do the reducing balance. Okay. So now here scan, my starting quantity is my required quantity, and then I am going to iterate these many ways and simply the lambda start and that actually seed and current value, and then finally going for s minus c, right? If you see here, we have got to this much, and then what can I simply do? Minimum my this much, my current value, and my opening value, my current value, and then finally reducing this much, right? So that's what we are going to do. One second. I may have made a mistake here. Yeah, my closing will be opening minus closing. Okay, not C, but S minus C. Yeah. So now you can see that what is happening here, I am at least getting a value here. Okay. So let me do here as well. And I will tell you by the minimum will, yeah. So just see here. Okay. What will happen? So 500 units, you can see that I am getting 400 plus 200. Okay. So Aditya, this is not making sense, but think in that way. So this is my closing balance here. You can see that this is my closing balance. But what do I need to do to again get the distribute amount? I can simply do the difference. So how can I do that? V stack, okay, my required quantity, and I am going to drop my last quantity here, minus 1, and then I am simply reducing again, and now you can see that I have distributed the amount. So simply put, it is just again going for this way. I will tell you the logic again, right? So what is happening here, if you see, these are my closing balances. Okay, so how can I actually get the distribute amount? So you can see that opening minus distribute equals to closing, right? So this is happening. So I have got closing here, and opening will be my previous quantities, right? So if I'm just going to drop everything here, you can see that these are my opening balances right now. Got it? And now how can I get the distribute quantities? So simply put, closing, one second, let's take this way. Opening minus equals to distribute. So that's the logic I am using here. Got it? So what I am simply going to do, these are my opening quantities, and I am going to reduce them again. And that's it. I've got my distributed amounts. And then simply what can we do here? My amount multiply by my price, and that's it. And simply putting the sum here. Okay. So is everything good right now? Let's see and let's test our hypothesis as well. So what will happen if we have made to 1600 quantities, and that's it. It is working, right? You can see that it is properly working right now. So not a problem here. So this is the way you can actually do. But the moment we are going to make something changes, you will find out. Okay, and I will tell you the logic as well before tripping you there, right? And simply making it to the let statement. And let's see here. Quantity, these are my quantities. Great, not a problem. These are my prices. My required quantity is this much. Okay, let me see. Quantity is this one. Reducing balance, got it. Difference amount, total price. And let's go for making the let statement. And something is not working right now. What has happened? Any idea here in the chat? Okay, so what might have happened for this wall region? Uh, right? So normally that's the problem with the references and when you actually put the values there. Got it? So let me tell you what is actually happening here. So earlier what we were doing here when we were making the difference, so we did it something like this way. Minimum S minus C. Okay. So what will happen is if I'm going to do this way, minimum of these two values, right? So it is giving me 0. But, but. So what will happen if I'm going to do this way, minimum of uh, empty string and then 0, it will throw me an error. So that's the problem is happening here. Got it? So how can we deal with that? So simply put, you can actually do something like this way as well. So here you can do something like this. Array, not, empty string and then 0 and it will not cause a problem, right? So what we can do here, if any, and I can make it an array as well. Got it? And now let me change the here figure, right? Okay. I don't know why this is not working. Wait a second. Got it. The problem here. Minimum of. Okay, this way will not work. Yeah, I remembered now. So when I was preparing the file, it was not working. So this way will not work properly because you actually cannot do this way. So what's the another way out? So simply put, you can say that you can use the VStack and everything. I'm not going to make complex things today. But yeah, you can actually do a trick here. So the moment I am getting error because I know this will be my highest value, right? So what can I do here? I am just going to use the required quantity amount. Okay, not a problem. The moment you see that I've got everything what I needed, right? And it is not causing any problem because by any way the last quantity will be 0, right? So that's the only thing what I'm going to do here. So coming here, I'm coming here and then change to required quantity and that's it. You will see that I've got the answer which I needed, right? So that's one of the ways you can actually use and make it a, you can say that, calculate the quantity discount way. I have showed you the logic and everything. So this is the way you can actually do the reducing balance and then you can actually find the amount. Got it? And then you can actually convert this whole thing into a function and everything. And before doing that, let's jump into how can we actually calculate the discount as well. So discount, as simple as that, if you think that if you were not a regular customer or if you have bought them again on the same price, so what would have happened is you can say that if I have bought the prices and not including these discounts, so what would have happened is my quantity will be into maximum price. Okay, my maximum price and minus this much. So this will be my actual discount. You can say in a way, but it depends on you how you will be calculating the discount. I am just assuming right now, if I have not been a long-term buyer here or customer here, they would have always given me the price of 50. You can find the lookup and everything, but I don't think so that will actually make relevant sense because in a way normally no one actually goes and just say that okay, for first 500 you buy, we will be setting this much price. They will be normally setting the gradual decrease price. That's what I have actually seen in my real life, honestly. Okay, Aditya, so please ask in the chat if you have got any confusion here. If you have, tell me what should I explain, and then otherwise I will show you one method and that you can actually use probably everywhere. Got it? So transpose from, okay, okay. 1 second. These ones, let me beautify the code as well. Yeah, good to go. Great. All right. Even Owen, you can download the files directly from, you can say that the description. I have uploaded the files as well. All right. So this is one of my approaches. I will tell you one of the approaches as well, which I also use actually in my day-to-day life. And you might remember it when I have solved it this way. So right now, let me copy this whole thing and let's go for method 2. Okay. So let me delete these many parts and let's see. I don't need to remove this much part. Okay. And I won't be needing this much as well. Okay. One second. Yeah. So now what can we do here? Let's see. Just see here. What would have happened if you can see that this was my income tax. Okay. So for first 100, I will be pricing this, and then for next 300, I will be pricing this, and for then 600, I will be pricing this. Let's see what I mean actually. So what can we do here? This is my upper limit, okay? And then what can we do? Can my first start will be 0, and then I am going to add this, and then simply say the sum part here. You can see that I have got my upper limits here. And what will be my lower limit? So it will be, you can see that I can simply do weak stack, start from 0 and drop the, one second, last value here, right? Now you can see that I've got my upper limit and lower limit. And then let's go for quantities right now, or you can say that distribute. So how I am going to do the distribute part? All right. So what can I do? Just I'm just going for on a fly here right now. The maximum value, got it. And then what I'm going to do here, I will be taking the minimum of these two values, 100 and these 200. Okay. So either way, one second. Yeah. So actually required quantity, let me set it to 500 and my upper limit. Okay. So maximum of my required quantity and my upper limit, right? Minus my lower limit. And that's it. Okay. And let me see what's the problem here. It should have come properly. 300. One second. Mhm. Okay, one second. My 500 minus 300 equals to 200. Let me see where I am making mistake. Okay, by mistake I actually used the maximum of them. All right, minimum of these two. Now you can see that I have actually got what I wanted. So you can see that I've got 100 quantities, 200 and 200. That's how I have distributed. And the only problem which is coming is that the last price, right? So what can I do here? Instead of just say, because I will be needing the maximum of it, this much, right? So what can I do here? I can come here and just simply say, I can make it mm, the 0 as well. Let's see. One second. Let's test this way. Okay. And because I don't want to spill over the effects here properly, so what can I do here? I can come here and do the maximum of these values, right? And you will see that I'm not going. getting these negative values here, right? And let's test it out. 1500, so it is distributing properly. I have got my first 1500 allocated to this first quantities, and then what will happen if I go for 1600, and you will see that it is not working here, right? So what we can do here, let's see. Instead of doing this much, we can come here and try this way, and you can see that again the trick holds true, right? Let's see if I let me distribute this much as well. All right, so the trick holds true, and I have distributed the amounts to 1600 quantities as well. Got it? So that's a simple logic. The only thing is that we have actually made the threshold and then the lower threshold and simply distributed the amount in this way. And now what we can do here, we can come here and make it a simple lambda formula so that we can actually spill it, right? So what I'm going to do here, simply the map, my, 1 second, this is my upper, this is my lower, and then simply come and say lambda upper lower minimum of my this quantity and then my upper quantity and then simply the lower quantity, and that's it. So that's how you can actually do, and then simply the last amount. 1 second, today I don't know what things are working with my fingers, but yeah. So that's how you can also do the calculations. So this is again one of the ways. So first method, yeah. So the first method was I was reducing the balance one by one quantities. And then finally, what did I do? Simply, I subtracted my previous closing balance to my current closing balance. That is closing minus opening minus closing. And then this is the way I actually distributed the amount and then simply multiplying it. So multiplication is not an important part. The main part is the distribution of it. And if you see here, this was actually method 2, but yeah, we are going with this right now. Great. So what happens is that here, what I did here simply, I first distributed the amounts, and because what I need here, I just simply want the biggest number here. Got it? So that I won't get any error here, right? So what did I do here? I calculated the upper threshold and then I calculated the lower threshold. And if you have seen my previous recording of how to calculate income tax, we actually went with the same process, right? We went with the same process of upper limit and then the lower limit, and then we distributed our income, you can say chunks of income in the threshold, and then finally we multiplied with the X amount, right? So similarly, what we are doing is we are distributing, or you can say allocating the amounts within these thresholds and then finally multiplying with the amount. And that's it. I have got the amounts which we need. So actually in finance, we tend to overcomplicate the things, but if you have got a bit of the logic, okay, Aditya has shown us how to calculate income tax. So in a way you can see that these logics will hold true in other value uh, other finance aspects as well. Let me show you actually and tell you what I actually mean. So what I'm going to do here, let me delete this much part, and instead of distributing the amount, I am just going for this much amount, right? I am just going for distributing this much amount, nothing more. And what will I do? Okay, let me copy this formula, or you can say that I've got amazing paste exit formula and it won't make any changes. And then what can I simply do? I will make a lambda statement. Save lambda. Quantity. These were my quantities, my required quantities. Okay, yeah. quantity, upper limit, lower limit, and result. So let me see that if it will make sense, or otherwise what we will do simply, because we have got text after this way, right? So instead of, let's see what we are going to do here, let's say, let me copy this whole part here so that you will actually get what I mean. So, or you can say that creditors payment. So let's say we have got creditors, or what will I do? It will give me bunch of errors here. So what will I do here? Simply creditors A to E and payments here, right? So 100, 200, and let's say this is the way we are going to pay. So this is the way you can say that priority wise payment, right? So when we have got the distribution, so what we can actually do here, I will simply put it this way so that we actually don't get any error here. And I now won't need this much part, and simply pasting it this way, right? And let's say I won't be needing actually this much part, but it's good to go. All right. So now what we are going to do here, we are going for save lambda. This is my quantity. You can say that this is my array. Okay. And this will be my actually opening balance. Or let's say, because I normally use this way is naming my names here. And let's say this is my, I won't be actually needing it, but yeah, let's go with this way. Good to go. And save lambda. Got it? So distribute amount. And now what you can simply do here, let's say I have got an opening balance of 500 here. Got it? So what can I do here? Simply I can select this much array, and my opening balance is this. And now you can see that this is the way I will be paying my, you can say the creditors. If I have got more payments, let's say this much, so you can see that I am allocating this much amount in this way. Got it? So once you grasp the, you can say that logic of to solve these problems, you can apply it normally anywhere. If this is the way to distribute the amounts. Got it? So that's the, you can say that use case of nowadays with the lambdas and everything. Got it? So just moving in this way only, let me show you something. One second. Let me open up my LinkedIn. And if you see today's Excel BI challenge, you will find something similar only. Okay. Normally, Excel BI, finding Excel BI is kind of a challenge, but thankful to LinkedIn, they are saving all important persons here for me. So if you see today's challenge as well, you will find something similar is going on, right? So these are the tired, you can say that in a way, tired quantity discounts, right? So what can I actually do? You can see that I have actually simply used the same logic here. Got it? So let me come here and I will show you how can you actually do the same thing here. So this was my formula and it will feel like a very giant formula right now. So what you can do actually, if you have got OA robots, great, then simply going here and I can do that audit formula steps, and that's it. The moment I do audit formula steps, it will automatically distribute all my steps in one region. Got it? So this was the original data. You can see that. Then what did I do? These were my inputs, and then I have sorted them. Uh, you can say that in the reverse order, because I knew, okay, if you want to do more calculations here, you can find that, okay, what is the boss per liter here in a way. But I know, okay, because the higher I will go, the you can say that it will the prices will be cheaper. So that's why I directly sorted the values, and then you will find that this is the giant formula which was actually done for me. So now what will I take here? Simply putting the, let's say, 1.5 liters. Got it? And then instead of doing this much portion, I'm just going to remove the lambda portion and then just simply putting this much portion. Got it? And you can see that I've got 1.5, and even if I change the price 1.5 here, I'm actually getting 200 here. Got it? So these are the way you can actually do. Now what you can actually do here, you can again come here because this is again lambda, and I have prepared my logic in a way that step by step, then again you can come here, audit formula step, and that's it. On just a fly you can actually see I've got my steps in this way. And what will I do here? I will hide these columns, and now you can go the logic this way. So first this is my actual bottle types, and then finally these are my inputs. Won't need it actually right now. And then I have actually sorted my table in a descending order based on, you can say that, the quantity. Got it? And now what I'm doing is, let's say if my input is this much, x is equals to 1.5, then what will happen is I am going for reducing the balance. You can see that because first quantity is my 5, then what is happening is I'm not going to reduce this balance. Got it? And then what is happening here? The the bottle liter is 2. Again, it won't make sense. That's why I am not reducing anything here. The moment I hit on the 1 liter bottle, what will happen is it will reduce by 1 liter. Got it? And you can see that I have still left zero point 0.5 units, zero point 0.5 liter pending. And again, here, because zero point 0.5 is there, I am reducing the zero point 0.5 here. The only thing, again, I am going for opening minus closing. This is the same way you can say that the way we did just here, opening minus closing is equals to distribute amount. And then finally we are going to multiply the units because I want to get the units right. So what I need to do here, because how many bottles I will actually need to fulfill these many quantities. So what did I do here? Simply putting 1 divide this way, you can see that difference divided by the capacity which is there. Okay, so distance, let me show you this way so that you won't get confused. So difference, that is my now distributed amount, and then just say simply this much amount, right? One second, where did I made a mistake? Okay, actually this will be this much amount, right? So you can see that I've got my units, bottles, and then I am going to multiply them with my amount. You can see that this is my actually amount here, and then I have just got my amount. So let's say if I just want to change it to 2.3, then you can see that 2.3 is units 2 is distributed here for 2 bottles, and then finally 3 bottles of zero point 0.1. And that's the logic actually you can use. Uh, you can say that actually I use this logic for solving today's Excel BI challenge. Right. So this is typically the way you can actually do financial distribution amount. It will be like, you can say that calculating income taxes, uh, paying to the creditors on priority basis, and if you have got to distribute the amounts in chunks, then you can use this way as well. And let's say you want to, you can say that distribute the amounts in proportional way. So you can say that how can I explain that? We normally tend to get partnership sums, right? So for first 100 million amount, we will be paying dividend this much, and then for the next chunk, we will be paying this much amount. So when progressive payments are made, or you can say that for whenever you will see distribution of amounts, you can actually use this type of calculations in your day-to-day life. Okay, so I feel like normally when I saw this challenge and when I saw people solving this challenge, so normally what they have done was simply using the recursion approach, you can say that the recursion approach here to calculate one by one thing. But if you know a bit of finance and the way you can actually do these calculations, then it is pretty simple. That's the only thing. Okay, so I was talking very much today again because it is a one to many interface. I cannot do anything, but I hope you got the idea. Could be mean I didn't get you, Sairam sir. If you can actually explain, it will be a bit more easier for me to understand what you are asking. Okay, you guys have got 1 to 2 minutes. If you can ask me questions right now, or otherwise you can DM me in my LinkedIn chats, or you can say that directly asking on YouTube comments as well. I will do my best to solve your questions relating to this webinar or live stream. You're corrected from max to min. Yeah. Should be minimum of there. So that's what I was getting confused there. 1 second. When too many buttons open, things get quirky. Yeah, here I need to use the minimum here first. So I was mistaking there. Mm, Great then, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's hope things go well and meet you in the next Friday on next Friday with another quirky challenge and some financial concept. Till then, enjoy your weekend and enjoy excelling. Bye bye.